This one's gonna be slightly embarrassing for me. Resetting the TBR method. Welcome to the vlog. Welcome if you're new here. By the title, you guys already know I'm gonna be doing my very first reset video. This will be one of many because there are so many areas of my house that desperately need to be reset. So we're gonna slowly tackle this house, but for this video, we're focusing more so on smaller tasks and even bookish related tasks. This one's gonna be slightly embarrassing for me. Nevertheless, let's get into the first order of business. Okay, listen, before you judge, just know that disaster of a messy vanity area has seen me through 2 postpartums, okay? So just take that into account. When you have a baby and you come home from the hospital with just like a ton of supplies, or you panic buy because you're trying to prepare, and then your anxiety is like, well, maybe we should just prepare for the worst case scenario. Yeah, let's just stock that up. I mean, honestly, that's just part of nesting too. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I've accumulated so much mess, so many products, because when I'm not pregnant, I do like to use skincare that is not pregnancy safe and enjoy the benefits of those ingredients, such as retinol. But then whenever I do become pregnant, I have to switch to pregnancy safe products. And so I just started storing my prior skincare regimen in the drawers, completely forgot about them, and then they expired, and then I never reused them, and then I'm just so tired and exhausted from newborn care and motherhood, and you know, the first go around you're going through matrescence and all of that, that the last thing on my to-do list and on my mind is to fix my vanity area. And so just know that that is the reason why that it is horrendous, and I'm fed up with it. Listen, it is a Thursday. It was a long day at work. Then we had a family dinner. Then we came back here. It's almost 8 o'clock, and this is what I'm choosing to do with my downtime because I just can't look at it anymore. And I'm honestly anticipating a drastic transformation because I barely even go in any of my drawers because I just don't use that stuff anymore. I'm anticipating to regain a ton of space. I'm also getting rid of this thing here because I just find it very annoying and not very functional. And with all the space that I'm planning to get back, I can just put my makeup and hair products in there. Also, I don't want you guys to see the current state and think that that's literally how it was. I just got done cleaning, so it was a lot more order to the chaos before I started filming. I will treat myself to some entertainment while I'm tackling this mess. For tonight's entertainment, we are going to be starting the 3rd book in the Trial of the Sun Queen. Sorry, it's not the Trial of the Sun Queen series. It's actually called Artifacts of Uranus series, but the first book in that series is Trial of the Sun Queen. So I'm on the 3rd book. My Spotify listening hours have refreshed. I'm so excited to be listening to this because these books are literally just so much fun. So let's put on these headphones and see what the damage is. You guys, when you clear out a full trash bag's worth of unused items or empty items or expired items, and then you reorganize and it still somehow looks like a mess, because that's how I feel. I mean, it's certainly way more organized. I couldn't see the bottom of any of the drawers, and my last 2 drawers were completely not functional. I actually don't have that much space because I did pull items from my linen closet that I was using as storage to fill these drawers. However, the space is used very functionally. And I keep looking down because I'm actually looking at this drawer. Hang on. So this drawer was of no use to me at all. I didn't even know what was in it. I just knew it was a bunch of junk, essentially. So I now have this cup of like where I keep my hair bands, hairpins, clips, a little comb. This makeup bag I completely emptied and put all my brushes and whatnot in there. For this container, I'm just putting all of the makeup that I use daily. So like my blush, CC cream, lipsticks, and eyebrow gel. Sometimes I wear mascara, but 90% of the time I don't. I just curl my eyelashes, so actually this should go in there. My hair products, my brush. These are my collection of glasses. Some are blue light glasses and most of these are my prescription glasses. And then this bag is additional makeup products that I really only use like on special occasions. And then this drawer has all of my nail stuff, which all of this used to be in my linen closet because I, didn't have any room in this drawer, but now I do. So it just makes more sense. And then the top drawer is just my basics, everything I need to access quickly, like toothbrush, retainers. I use reusable makeup pads. So this is basically the hamper. And then all of my clean cotton pads live in here. My perfumes, and then daily skincare is over in this corner. So yeah, way more functional. How many times can I say functional in this portion of the vlog? Functional. Anyways, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing organization, but it is organized. A reading update, I am now 21% into The Fate of the Sun King. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I needed a recap. I remember most of the characters, but I was confused on a couple and who they were. Honestly, I'm feeling a bit indifferent about this series. I was really enjoying it and loving it, mostly the first book because it had all of the trial components and whatnot. But now that that's over and they're getting into the bigger plot, my interest and intrigue is starting to wane a bit, especially because, I don't know, I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna finish this and then we'll see how I feel about continuing the series. Anyways, it is now 9:15. I still need to take a shower and then I'll probably hang out with the hubby for a bit and call it a night. I will see you guys tomorrow. That is piping hot. Okay, I do have quite the reading update for you guys, and this may shock you given how much I've talked about the Queen of the Sun Trials and the Aurora. I forget the name of the second book, but I thoroughly enjoyed the first and second book, so I was excited to start The Fate of the Sun King, and I've gotten to the 30% mark. I think we have, unfortunately, our first DNF of the year. Yeah. I'm sad to hear that too. It might be a soft DNF. I'm gonna read the reviews and see how I feel, but just at this point in time, I just don't care where she's taking the plot or like building up to the next two books. And here's the thing, if this was just a trilogy, I would finish it. But I think there's 4 books at least. At this point, I don't understand why, especially because there's just so much writing on the wall. I find it to be heading in a very predictable resolution. While I enjoy our FMC lore very much, I mean, she's feisty. I loved her from the first sentence of the book of the Son of the Queen trial, which if you know, you know. But that's just not enough, and especially because I'm not that interested in the MMC for this book. So taking into account all of those points, I did decide to DNF it this morning. I just find myself really bored with what's going on, and that's at 30%. We're almost at the halfway point, and she hasn't given me one thing to make me more curious and invested in continuing the series. So yeah, I did DNF, but I did start Rebel Witch, which is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. The first book is Heartless Hunter, and I really enjoyed Heartless Hunter. It definitely left off on a strong enough cliffhanger cliffhanger to where I immediately knew I wanted to start Rebel Witch. I'm already having a far better experience. So yeah, that is the reading update for this morning. In a few hours, me and the boys are going to head over to my parents. We have family in town. My sister and her new baby is in town, so I am super excited to see him. They did request that I make my Nutella brownies, which is just a family favorite. I cannot take credit for this recipe. I first got it from the New York Times. I will pop down the recipe in the description. It's so easy and it's pretty much 90% Nutella. So if you like Nutella and you like brownies, this is a recipe for you. I think you'll love it. So it's actually been 2 days since I last picked up the camera. So first things first, of course, we have a reading update on Rebel Witch. I'm actually 52% complete and only have 3 hours and 20 minutes left. So definitely finishing that all within this reset video, which I'm very, very happy with because to be quite frank, I'm running very behind on my February TBR. I still have 2 books left to read to meet my February goal. Yeah, uh-oh, indeed. So if I can finish Rebel Witch today, I will be so happy. I should also mention that off camera on the side, I have been reading The Silversmith. I'm 30% into that book, and I am cautiously optimistic about this potentially being a 5-star read. And I say that because although I'm in the middle of Rebel Witch and I'm enjoying it, it's really good. I am itching to get back to The Silversmith, and that's only the 30% mark. Okay, so since this is a reset video, quite often in these types of vlogs, there's organization and cleanup and an introduction to a new routine that you're gonna try to stick with. So I'm gonna be changing up my breakfast routine by adding this fermented umi paste concentrate that my sister so kindly gifted to me. It has many health benefits. You can take it like a warm water tonic. So I'm gonna try to drink this every morning in addition to Brazil nuts, especially if you are a woman. It helps to balance and regulate your hormones, which is very important. I will be introducing these 2 things into my morning routine before I eat my coffee and breakfast. So let's try it out right now. Right, the next order of business has got to be taking the Christmas tree down and resetting this living room. We're almost in March, and I feel like February is the last socially acceptable month to still have your tree up. Even then, it's kind of pushing it, so she's got to get down. I hope my husband's not going to be too upset I'm taking this down by myself, but I gave him today to go out golfing and relax. And honestly, I can do this on my own. I'm not stressing. The only thing I'm stressing about is the fact that she's still up. Also, oh my god, I have been listening to the audiobook in between this clip and the last clip you saw. I now have 2 hours left and this plot is just compounding. There's so many plot twists that I didn't see coming. I'm really enjoying that. I was so shocked by the, big reveal of who this certain person is. Also, the pacing is everything you'd want in a fantasy book. Very much looking forward to getting back to the story. So it's time we talk about this masterpiece, which is also the topic of our next reset activity, also known as resetting the TBR method. Because for this part of the vlog, I'm going to be creating my own TBR jar just to try out if I enjoy this kind of method for picking my books. I'm only going to do enough prompts for 2 months and then decide from there if I enjoy this method versus strictly mood reading my TBR. But everyone knows in order to have a TBR jar, you've got to have a jar. And this cup was a birthday present from my brother. Needless to say, it looks nothing like the product that they said this was gonna be. And when he got it, he busted out laughing and he was like, there's no way I can give this to you. But he showed me what it looked like and I started laughing, and it just sort of became an inside joke between me and my brother. So yeah, now it is being used as a TBR jar and will be a part of this book channel's lore. So here she is in all her beautiful glory. Look at that. So now that we've addressed the mug in the room, let's do a quick reading update. I only have 30 minutes left, which I think is the perfect amount of time for me to write down my TBR prompts, cut them, roll them up, throw them in the jar, and go over them with you guys. So yeah, let's finish this book together. Wait, so something huge just happened. I'm at the 97 mark, by the way. So if you've read it already, you pretty much know what just happened. I'm not gonna freak out because I have a theory, but I'm pretty sure I know how they're gonna undo, so to speak, this situation. So staying calm and still hoping for that happy ending. 15 minutes left. Okay, so we did it. We finished Rebel Witch and we also created our very first TBR jar. I know I said that I was only going to create enough for 2 months, but since I finished writing down the prompts a little earlier and had more time left, I just went ahead and did another set of prompts. So this should last me 3 months, which I actually feel is a better amount of time to measure whether or not the TBR jar was a success. So here are all of my prompts in here ready to be picked for the month of March, which is coming right around the corner. Now that I have this jar, I really need to work on loading up my physical TBR. So I need to make a special trip to Barnes just for that. I love a book haul, so I'm really excited to do that. Plus my sister gave me such a generous gift card for my birthday, so I'm really excited to go and do that. That'll probably be for another video, but just so you guys know, these are the prompts that are in the jar. So there is 18 prompts in total, I believe. I have a few that involve other people to make it more fun. So I have a book your littlest son picks, and then a book your eldest son picks, and then also hubby picks a new book, and hubby picks a book you already own. Bestie Sarah picks a book, and then I have a new author, a book with best first line, a book outside of your comfort zone, non-fiction, start a new series, Kindle Unlimited, a mood read, continue a series, a book based off of the cover, a sad book, a short book, a long book, and a book that's been on the shelf the longest. So those are all of the 18 prompts that I have. I'm excited to see which ones I get for March. And yeah, this lovely piece of art will now officially live right there for now. I completely need to redo and reorganize my bookshelf. Another future video coming up. So lots of exciting things to look forward to. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for choosing to spend this time with me. I really, truly appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, liked, and engaged and interacted in some way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.